What a great okay. What a great opportunity to take that social media content and share it, right? It's a way for us to get the word out, to share who we are, why we're doing what we're doing, and take those opportunities with those events to share it to all your friends and ask them to share and repost. And, you can, I think with from Facebook, you can push things out to Instagram easily and stuff like that. So just a really great opportunity for us to continue to grow our presence in the community. And that's really why we're all here. We all have such great services to offer, but if people don't know about us, how are they going to, take advantage of all that we have to offer and all of the hearts that we have to help them, right? So I just continue to preach and try to inspire all of you to really use that platform to the best of its ability, okay? All right, so let's remind ourselves why we're here today. Our mission, the OACS mission, is to proactively serve and educate each other in pursuit of synergistic solutions for seniors and their adult children. Our vision is to create a unified senior resource team to support each other and the seniors in the community that we serve. And our values are integrity, synergy, service, and collaboration. Okay. Amy, you had a little announcement. Pass the mic.
Yeah. We are working, we have our calendar of people who are going to be presenting throughout the year. And this year we kind of have, because we have switched our dates to the second Thursday of the month, as opposed to the fourth, we now have November and December with some opportunities to do things instead of running into Thanksgiving and Christmas. So it's a new opportunity for us as a group. And we really would like to kind of take advantage of that opportunity to do something that would be beneficial to our community. So looking at perhaps planning, something like a food drive, doing something that we're with our meeting in conjunction with it, that we are having a way to really support our community. And so we'd love to have some ideas from people who are here to know what are some possibilities, some needs that we're not aware of in the community, some things that we can do, maybe physically doing something at the meeting or collecting things at the meeting. Just wanted to get some ideas from you guys about what would be good for those November, December, so that we can have our year all in place and get that information out to everybody.
Absolutely. Very good. And don't be shy. There are no bad ideas, right? So if you've got an idea, share it. That's where great ideas are born. Crystal Treadway with the Alzheimer's Association has a little announcement, and then we'll move into announcements here in the room if anybody has any announcements.
I am so sorry I'm not there. I had a senior moment and went to the wrong place. So you got me on Zoom today. I have some exciting news for Alzheimer's. I just got back from a leadership summit in San Diego, and our main focus has switched to treatment, and it is so exciting. And not only that, we have a new representative in Congress in our district, and that is now Clintock. And Ron and I were able to make a video, and also I was able to do a presentation. And in that, we have an opportunity from, let's see if you can see this or not. You can't see it. There it is. Anyway, I got a nice letter from Tom Clintock, went ahead and signed the CMS letter that was floating around in the House. We are fighting to make a change for the regulations that put it just the medication like lecanemab and lecanemab, which is the new medication that's available. We are fighting for Medicare to cover that. And he signed along with 75 other congressmen to get CMS to make a change. So look forward to more announcements. Janine, I'm going to be sending you announcements. That's all I've got for now.
Love that. Love that. Thank you, Crystal.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Okay, so anybody here in the room having announcements, don't be shy. You are amongst friends. Raise your hand. Let us know what's going on. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Yeah.
I don't even know if I need them. Hi, everyone. My name is Stephanie. For those who don't know me, I'm with the Stratford at Byer Park. And myself, along with our lovely ladies from Encompass, we're hosting an event on March 3rd. We're going to be celebrating International Women's Day, the best day of the year. So we're really excited. It's going to be at the Stratford, and you all, of course, are invited. It's going to be a trivia night. Something different, something fun. We're going to have a good time with it. We do ask that you RSVP with your team names and the members of your team. And we really encourage you to reach out to your colleagues from different companies, different organizations to create your teams. They don't all have to be from your own company. So get creative, talk amongst yourselves, create your teams, get creative with your team names too, because I'm excited to see those. And we'll have a good night. It's March 8th, 5 to 7 p.m. at the Stratford. There'll be food, drinks, prizes, and come out and have a good time with us. Yeah. Yeah.
How many people on the team?
Oh, thank you. Max of 4 people per team. Okay, awesome. And though I passed out some invitations already, but there'll be more invitations up at the front too. And then we'll send emails too. Okay, thank you guys.
Okay, all right. Oh, thank you. I'm loving this table up here today. This just gets me so excited. And so I would love for people from the general public to be here with us and have an opportunity to grab this information, speak to the representatives here that represent these fabulous companies and their services. So that really is my heart for this group, is that we start having that participation from our general public, that they not only attend our meetings, but they interact and interface with us on our social media. So today we have my good friend, Anna Felix, who's going to be presenting to us. And she is somebody who exemplifies a servant's heart. She has such a love for people and such a desire to do what's right and assist them financially. There's unfortunately a lot of people in this world who take advantage of people financially. And so to find somebody that has a pure heart and wants to help others financially steward their money, and you can trust that person, is a true blessing and a true gift. And that's who Anna Felix is. So welcome, Anna Felix.
Thank you so much, Joyce. That's super sweet. Super excited to be here today. And I wanted to just kind of give you a little rundown of what I would talk about, because isn't it kind of nice? Where's this going and what are we going to be learning? So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my why I do the work that I do. I'm going to talk about some money strategies that'll be good for all of us in the room. And then I'm going to follow up with some that are specific to seniors and how it could be helpful to them. So, so glad to have all of you here. It's so nice to be part of a group of people that are all focused on doing good in the community. I personally, financial services was definitely not something that I ever started life out in doing. It's definitely my second act. I was in education and linguistics intelligence. And it wasn't until I became a widow about 12 years ago that I realized, oh my gosh, I've got to make all these financial decisions now. And I have no idea what I'm doing. It was never something I had a ton of interest in. But now I have to, and I have to do it when I'm stressed out, and I have to do it when I have certain things that have to get decided. I have timelines. And so I went looking for some help and see if I could figure this all out. And I really wasn't the ideal client for most financial advisors, didn't have a lot of money, had a ton of debt, and I had a ton of questions. And they just were like, yeah, you're just not our ideal person. And so I literally had one tell me, you know what, Anna, I don't have time to answer your questions. Quite frankly, you don't need to know this stuff. You just need to marry a rich guy and you'll be fine. It's like, oh my gosh. Okay. That is not the answer I was expecting to get. So walking to my car, leaving that appointment, I thought, you know, I don't know if I could do this, but I feel like if I had good financial information, I could definitely be better at being consultative and helping answer these questions. And so that kind of planted the seed for me to get into the industry. It took me 3 years, but now today that's what I get to do. And so I wanted to just share some of the things I've learned along the way. My idea is always to keep it very simple. There are no bad questions. In fact, if you have a question about something that I say, just raise your hand. You know, maybe it's not clear, or maybe it's something that'll be helpful to others. So I want it to be friendly. I feel like women, particularly, we kind of fear money and the whole subject. And so my goal is always to make it kind of fun, easy, and just have some good information. So we have a problem that we're going to talk about and talk about some solutions. The first one, I don't know if any of you have ever thought about this, but I was always kind of curious, why were my grandparents and parents able to retire? And now we're seeing today that more and more people are having difficulty doing that. People are working far longer than they ever wanted to. I was trying to figure out what is the reason for that. So speaking with other people and just, I attended an event about a year ago and the guy just broke it down and I was like, man, I never even thought of it. But traditionally in our grandparents and parents' age, 70% of their income in retirement came from a pension. And then 20% would be Social Security would fill that gap. And then the other 10% you would get from your investment savings, that type of thing. Well, what kind of happened that nobody sent us the memo on was that pensions kind of went away. There's a few industries that still have some pensions. Teachers is one of them, the federal workers, some state people, but in general, they're only getting about 50% at the very most from that pension. But by and large, pensions have gone away. So now you and I, our friends, family, we kind of weren't told this. And now that triangle looks a little different. It looks more like that. 70% of your retirement income is going to be your responsibility to figure out. Social Security is still in that 20% bracket. And if you're a person that thinks that it's going to run out, you know, I don't know. I'm in the industry and I don't know what to tell you, but you know, it could happen. And then if you're fortunate to have a pension, then that's what happens. So being that table got turned on us, it's really, really very important that we figure out what are the best ways to grow money. Keeping it really simple, there's 3 ways to grow money. One of them is in a fixed type of an account. So this is your bank, CDs, bonds, fixed annuities. You get somewhere between 0 and 5%. And if it's like in the last year when inflation was over 8%, you have money in the bank, you're losing money safely, essentially, is what's happening. You definitely need to have your emergency funds and all those type of things. But the question then is, and unfortunately, let's see if I can move this. So the question is, how much of your money do you want in this strategy? What percentage of it do you want there? You need to have some there, but how much do you really want to have there? The next bucket, and this is kind of where my specialty is in indexed accounts. So these accounts have a floor of 0. What does that mean? That means you can't lose money in these accounts. So even if the market falls, you still will hold at 0. So I don't know about you, but I kind of like the idea of no loss, right? And I find that, you know, many of the people that I talk with, they're like, yeah, I didn't know that that was possible. I didn't know I could participate in market gains, but not have market losses. It is possible. Variety of ways to do that. That's one of my specialties. So your question again is, how much money do you want to have in there? And for many people that have didn't even know that this existed, like, wow, I'd like to be able to be growing some money in there. So that's another thing. Then your third way is variable. So these are your stocks, your mutual funds, ETFs, variable annuities. Probably 90% of the people that I meet with, most of their retirement is in this type of an account, because if you're utilizing a 401k, this is the type of an account that it grows in. The really cool thing about this is if the market's doing amazing, you can get 30% in there, but you also participate in the down. So if it falls 50% or whatever it falls, you take advantage of that as well. And there are fees in this type of an account. So again, the question is, we use all of these things, but what percentage of them should we have our money in? And that's an individual situation. Depends on your age and what your situation is. But it's good to know that you have these options and choose how much you want to participate in them. Move this again. So I wanted to explain a little bit about indexing. Let's put it there just so it's out of the way. So there's your 3 ways to grow money that we just talked about. Indexing is, again, you take advantage of all of the highs, but none of the lows. So if we took $100,000 in the year 2000, this takes us in the 20 years to 2020. The brown line is your traditional variable. So it goes up and down. So 07 and 08, we remember what that happened there, right? Loss of money there. But if you were in an indexed account, look what happened. It just stayed. You held the money that was in there. And then when things got better, you went up from there. So again, there was more dips, but at the end, you end up with about $52,000 more because you didn't take part in any of the losses. So that's how indexing works. And if you pick a strategy that utilizes that, you can have all the growth and none of the loss. Another thing that I guess we'll just leave it there. Another thing that I really like people to understand is taxation is super important. So again, if you have all your money in a tax deferred account, which is your 401k, that's great. You get to have tax deductions today, but you're not paying your taxes now. So you're going to pay them all in the future. How many of you think that taxes are going to increase in the future? Yeah, that's generally what I see, pretty much everybody. So if that's the case, if I don't know what they're going to be in the future, do I want to grow all my money in a place where I'm going to pay all the taxes later? Probably not. So again, diversifying, doing a variety of different things. So if I'm getting a match from my employer, absolutely want to be taking advantage of that. But maybe I don't want to fund it more than the match. Maybe I want to do one of my own plans and be able to grow it tax-free. Oh, there's a notion. I could grow it index, no loss in the market, and have it grow tax-free so that when I took the money out in retirement, it doesn't cost me anything in taxes. I don't get the tax deduction right now, but then I'm saving myself later. So you can start to see the benefit in doing both, right? Having both things so you have tax deduction now, tax deduction later. And if you strategize these things correctly, it can be really great. So I always suggest a merit planning approach. And I know it's spelled wrong. It doesn't have 2 R's, but it fits in really good with this. Mortgage, that can be something that you can utilize as part of your strategy. We're going to talk about one of those strategies in a minute. Estate planning is super important. Retirement, real estate can be a great addition to your portfolio. Life insurance as well. And then again, taxation. So what I always encourage is that all of these things be considered as part of your plan. Now, I personally don't do taxes. I don't do mortgages, but I work with those professionals together with my clients so that we're maximizing all the things that they have. If the CPA knows, okay, the perfect amount for the client to put in that tax-free account is this amount, we're working together to do that. Now we're optimizing the taxes now, taxes later. If we're talking to the estate planning attorney and we're talking to a business owner and they want to have a succession plan with their business, all of these things are very important to take into consideration so that the plan is cohesive. They're all working together. We don't have one person with this idea over here and someone with another idea over here. Makes it a little bit harder to be cohesive with that. So this year, wrong thing. Just so you can see it. In January, if you've heard of the firm Ernst & Young, they're one of the 4 largest accounting firms in the world. They did a research paper, which I did read all of it, but this was just the one quote that I wanted to share with you. They wanted to know what were the best type of financial plans. Was it being all in one particular strategy? And they didn't really break it down as into the amounts and the percentages, but it was just, they were looking for quality of life. the retiree not having to not do things because they didn't have money. Those are the type of things that they were looking at. And their quote was, "Our analysis shows that integrating insurance products into a financial plan provides value to retirement investors." So again, it goes back to that notion of a variety of things. You want to have some things in the market, other things not, other things that are specific and planned and protected. And so that's always a really good approach. It was nice to have that confirmation from a firm that was, you know, worldwide testing this and seeing that. So let's see. My clicker stopped working. Let's try this. Okay. This. So one of those things that can be used is an annuity. If you've ever heard of an annuity, there are people that love them, people that hate them, but there are hundreds of them. And what I love about them is that we can do things specific for seniors that they have concerns with, and we can find one that addresses what their specific concern or issue is. So in this particular strategy is called layering or laddering. And what it does is, in this particular example, we had a business owner that was 65. He wanted to kind of slowly walk away from the business and slowly give the reins over to his son. So he was going to be spending a little bit less time in the business, but he wanted to make sure that he was bridging the gap between when he actually completely retired. So at age 65, he started his first, and we call this particular kind a SPIA. It's a single premium immediate annuity. And this one's called a 5-year credit. So it credits for 5 years. So he put in $100,000. And the promise was that he would get $20,255 for 5 years. Okay. So there's his income coming out down here. At age 67, he did another one, stepping away a little bit more, doing a little bit less with the business, but wanting to make sure that he had enough income to bridge that gap. Now he has 2 of them. That one's also a 5-year one. So in that 3rd year, he makes $40,500 a year from those 2 things. At age 69, he implements the plan that's going to pay him for the rest of his life. So he does a 3rd one of these plans, but this one's a little bit different. This one pays indefinitely until he passes, and then the rest of it goes to his family upon his passing. So for the rest of his life, starting at age 69, he's going to get almost $45,000 a year. So in this year at age 69, when he stepped away quite a bit from the business, he was making $85,000. Then the first one falls away. Thus you see the laddering. And then he's got 2 more years with the other one. And then at age 72, when he's completely done, he has this income for the rest of his life. So he has other things going on, but this is one part of his plan. And he knows that no matter what happens, if he loses money in some of his other investments, he's never going to have less than this. And he could have more of those. There's just different ways to do it. So that's one strategy. Here's another one. This is a completely different annuity, different concerns. We have, if you have a health impairment, something happens, you get a payout with an option of in-home care. So now we're talking about the type of things that all of us in the room here are concerned about. We have people that are coming into the facilities. What are different ways that, and a lot of this, obviously, the sooner you do this, the better. So, early 60s, start to implement these things. If and when something happens in the future, you have these things in place. This particular plan gap benefit is interesting. It's the first time I've ever seen it, but as people become more and more concerned about Social Security, and they have talked about some benefit reductions, if that's a concern and you have this plan, if your Social Security drops, it will kick in and fill in that extra gap. So if that's a concern, we have something that can fix that. If you're worried about leaving a legacy, there's an enhanced death benefit with this particular annuity, and it will provide an enhanced benefit for your family that pays out for 5 years after your death. And then longevity, of course, that's always a thing. We want to live longer, but if we're starting to run out of money and don't have the means to pay for things, then that can be a problem. My personal favorite, oh, and you can't see the top of it. Let's move it here for just a second. Okay, thank you. So this is called the Allianz Benefit Control. I just call it ABC. But this is literally the really tiny small print at the back of the brochure that I've copied here for you because it sounds too good to be true, but it actually happens. So with this particular plan, if you've had the annuity for at least 5 years, it allows you to withdraw double your annual maximum if you become unable to do 2 of the daily living activities. And I left this here so that I'm sure most of you in the room know that, but what those are eating, bathing, getting dressed, toileting, transferring, and continence. If you lose the ability to do 2 of those, whether you are in your home or whether you are in a nursing facility, assisted living facility for at least 90 days in a consecutive 120-day period, it will double. So if you were getting $5,000 a month from this annuity and one of those events happened to you, you now get $10,000 a month for your care. So if long-term care is a concern, this is an amazing way to address that because you're not paying something specific for just long-term care, that if you pass away in your sleep and you never need it, you paid all that money and you never needed that. With this, you're growing your money in a really effective way. You have income coming to you, and that's why you purchased it. But it comes with this additional thing that if that happens, you have that. What's a huge difference between doubling your income during a time like that, right? We know that those are such difficult times. And if you continue to read, it says that if you get better, no longer need that, or something else changes, your income returns to the original amount. So now if you get better, you don't need to be in the nursing home, it will go back to the original amount. And it says that you continue to receive income for life, even if your accumulation value is 0. So when all the money that you've put in has grown as much as it can, and you run out of funds in that account, if you have this type of a plan, they will pay you until you pass. So these are wonderful things that address issues that our seniors are concerned about, and there's a way to handle that. The other and final thing that I wanted to share that's specific to seniors is most of them want to stay in their home, right? That's a very important thing. Many of them don't have anything else left. They really want to stay in their home. But sometimes the financial burden means that they can't afford to stay in their home. So the other really important thing that's part of a really good plan for a senior is a reverse mortgage. So Some of you may have heard really negative things about reverse mortgage. It's okay. You can nod your head if you did, or if you heard that and you're like, oh my God, she's going to talk about that. I don't think those are good. It's okay. I felt that way too. And then I learned about the new type of reverse mortgage that they're doing and how it can be so beneficial. Most of the time it was considered a last resort thing. And so, and I heard those horror stories of, you know, people in the 80s and 90s that lost their homes. What I did learn about was that there are two things that you still have to do when you have a reverse mortgage. You still have to pay your taxes and you still have to pay homeowners insurance. So some of those people that didn't do those things, they were the ones that potentially lost their homes in that old way of doing things. But I want to show you some really cool things here. In this particular scenario, this is not a last resort plan. This couple did not do this as a last resort. They did this to take the value in their home and create a line of credit that they could access if and when they needed to in the future. So they were going along in retirement, everything was good. And they were like, you know, this thing about home values can fall and I don't have any control of that. I want to just start a home line of credit. And if I need it, I can access it. So if at age 65, they started this line of credit, they had a home that was valued at $600,000, that line of credit would start at $234,000. If their home was valued at $400,000, that line of credit would start at $154,000. Now, if they never needed to access this line of credit continues to grow, independent of the value of the house, it grows on its own. At age 85, that line of credit could be $701,000. And then at this time, if now they needed in-home care, they needed other things that were much more expensive, then they could start to utilize that line of credit. So that's how that works. And it's amazing. Now, a few more details. If we took that couple that had that $600,000 home value and started them out at the 224, they could choose to do a variety of things. Hopefully they didn't need it right away. If they did, they could take out $1,056 a month for that, or a 5-year amount of $4,000. But one of the couples I was working with, because of COVID, they had to retire sooner. They were planning on working until 70, but they needed to retire at 65. So they figured out that they needed about $2,000 extra a month to just be comfortable, to not be stressing about everything. So they're going to go ahead and do that, even though they could take out $4,000 until they got to age 70. And then at age 70, start to take money out of the IRAs and get Social Security then. So that's okay. They don't have to take the whole $4,000. We did the math. And if they only took out the $2,000 that they needed, they would have at age 70, like $113,000 in their line of credit. And then they could take it from there. But if they allowed that to continue to grow and didn't need it, at age 85, as it's continued to grow, they could literally pull out $10,000 a month for 5 years if they needed to do that. So there's tons of different scenarios, tons of different things, but I like to just show that if you do apply a variety of these things, our seniors can have plenty of care that they need. They can do it in a way that they're not stressed out, either them or their children. And with a little bit of pre-planning, it's possible to do that. And that is it. Any questions? Yes.
What happens to this money if they don't use all of it and then they pass? It's inherited by their family, or?
Yeah, they have to make a decision about how they want to do that and structure that. And since I'm not a professional in all of that part of it, I defer that to others. But yeah, there's things that they can do to handle that and just determine if the house needs, if the children want the house. That's another thing that I hear a lot is the parents love their home, they want to stay in the home, and they think that their children wants the home. So they get to stay in the home. They're afraid, you know, I don't want to do something like this because, you know, when I pass, I want the children to have the home. Children may not want the home. In fact, many times they don't. And so if they can utilize the value in their home to get the care that they need, that's a much better gift for the children because they get the help that they need. They're not having to care for them. So it's just, you know, again, it's just another option, a different way to look at things. Anything else? Okay, well, thank you for your time. If you want to get a hold of me, that's the way to do that. And it was great to be here.
Thank you, Anna. She's helping me. I'm getting old. I work in a 100% commission industry, so it's very important that I set myself up for retirement. So it's been a blessing to me to work with somebody that I trust. Thank you, Anna. All right, so our next meeting will be March 9th, the second Thursday of that month, right here at Community Hospice. And again, the doors will open at 9:30 to allow time for people to network and spend time together, getting to know one another. And we will have Teresa Shepard of Care to You Oral Care. She'll be speaking to us. So excited to hear about your mission and your vision. It's very inspiring. And so I'm so excited for the opportunity to support you in that and allow you your time to share with us on that as well. She has a nonprofit organization. She provides portable oral care services to underserved populations in California. So a really incredible thing you're doing. So thank you, Teresa. All right, so we're going to do our raffle. Do you want to come up here and help me? We have two fabulous gifts to give away. Is that our?
Yeah, did everybody put in our raffle?
We need a drum roll. Nicholas, I cannot pronounce your last name. Not.
My last name's Greek, so that's what I did.
Okay, how do you pronounce it?
If you're Greek, it's Niakotis.
Niakotis. Oh, very nice. Okay. All right.
A basket here from Community Hospice. Did they also?
All right. Drum roll. Nita, and I cannot pronounce your last name either. She left. Okay, well, it's news you lose. Adriana Rivera. Wonderful. All right. Okay, well, that is it. Just a reminder to check out the table of information and hang out, spend more time networking. Thank you, everybody.
Oh,